Hello, everybody. I'm Julie from MAISON Jupiter, and tonight we're having the Divine Feminine Oracles with Sophie and with Meg. Very happy to see y'all in the chat and in the live with us tonight. So we're going to talk about some astrological alignments and also some energies that are in the environment around us this week. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Sophie. How are you, Sophie?
I'm good. How about you?
Very good, thank you. And hi, Meg. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. It's nice to be here with you guys today and everybody in the comments. Hello.
Yes, very good to see you as well. I think we're going to have a fun show tonight. There's a lot of energies right now in the sky, right? And we just had the full moon in Leo, which was a big one, making a T-square to Uranus. So there was a lot of emotions coming up on the world stage, and I'm sure you guys have felt it also in your personal lives. Well, first of all, do you guys have something you'd like to bring up? How did you feel about this full moon personally?
Yeah, if I can start.
For sure.
Personally, full moon, I don't sleep well. I don't know for you guys if you sleep well. Do you usually?
No.
It depends.
This one was a big one. I'm not necessarily like very, let's say, affected by the full moons, but this one, yeah, I was.
Yeah. So usually, I'm not an astrologer, so I will ask you guys. But I was under the impression that full moon was to just end some cycle and maybe more about sleeping, and new moon more energetic, and more about maybe insomnia. But for some reason, full moon for me, this one in particular, I was not able to sleep.
Yeah, me too. Same thing happened. What about you, Meg? How did you feel about the full moon?
I'm usually a good sleeper. It takes a lot for me to not be able to sleep. I go like really deep into sleep every night, but it's Leo, which is one of the fire signs and really energetic, right? So maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And before we go into our main content for tonight, please make sure you like this video and you're subscribed to Beyond Mystics YouTube channel. And we are also simulcasting on our channel Maison Jupiter, so please make sure you are subscribed there as well. And thank you for your likes. It really helps us make some new content and independent content for you guys every week. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have new exclusive content over here on Maison Jupiter. We have the pick a cards every Thursdays with Sophie. They are amazing. It's a really great practice to practice your intuition. And also we're doing astro decodes, Meg and I, regarding astrology and regarding specific topics. So we did 2023 predictions. And also we did, I don't know if we can see it right here. So compatible relationships, that was last week. That was a fun one, right?
That was fun. Yeah. Lots of information.
Oh yeah, we went a bit long, but we went through the 12 signs because we thought it would be very important to do so. Please make sure you liked and you subscribe to both channels. And tonight we have some giveaways for the super chats for questions. So we'll go through special questions with the super chats in the second part of the show. So if you have questions for either Sophie or Meg regarding astrology or even tarot or intuitive questions you'd like to ask, you're welcome to do so. And we have giveaways for people who are donating through super chats for tonight. So first of all, we have the amazing Carla who donated a pyramid for us. So let's see. I'm going to try to make it work this time. So let's see if it can work.
Do love, self-love.
Yes. To the side. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Carla from Ascension Organize, and today I have a piece that belongs to the Love Collection. So the Love Collection is all the pyramids that have to do with love, self-love, romantic love, and soul connection. So this one here is Inanna. Inanna is made of rose quartz, rhodonite, red garnet, red jasper, and rhodochrosite. She also has stainless steel, aluminum metals, and the seed of life in silver. So Inanna is actually a Sumerian goddess of love and war. She's all about self-love, self-worth, and connecting to ourselves. I'll give it a quick turn so you can see it. And there's Inanna. I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carla. Did you guys like this pyramid?
That is gorgeous.
Right. And really in tune with this Venus and Neptune energy in Pisces, right?
Yeah.
And also we have a candle for also one of the supporters for this tonight's show. And it's going to be the love candle from Elena. So these are handmade candles by Elena, crystal infused. And this one is infused with carnelian crystal, and it helps activate the sacral chakra. So, and the love candle is peach and chocolate for the scent. And I think it's Sophie's favorite candle.
I try to try other ones, but this is my go-to every time that I want to feel good. Just especially right now with a great bubble bath or anything. And if you see my picker card, I always have a candle, and it's the love.
It's the love. It's the theme for all the month, right? Like I know it's kind of tacky, but since we also have Venus and Neptune together in Pisces, I feel like it's a very romantic energy. So it's perfect for this pyramid and this candle. So, Sophie, do you want to start? I'd like to know, do you have a common theme in your consultations lately? Do you see something coming up in the energy that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, so on Monday, yesterday, I feel like it's 4 days away, but it's yesterday. I did a show about the energy of the week. And the first card that we had is the card that says the answer is no. And most of the cards were about no, 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 and no. So I think that right now I'm going to use the term waiting room. I think that we're not, all of us are not, I don't think we are in the same page about this full moon yet. I think that some of us are waiting in the waiting room for the rest of the world to catch up with this energy. So I feel that we are in the waiting room for action, but we do have to let go still of things in our life. It just depends on what you did in the past as work when it was the big purge. Did you do the big purge with life, with maybe relationship around you, with maybe job, with maybe house? Those are the things that comes up a lot. It's the people that try to resist to change, and they are just figuring out that right now it's not really working in some area of their life. And the rest of the world, when they are really in the energy of right now, they're more decluttering their house because they already did the big purge. So I feel that we're not yet into action for new things, but we're already in action for maybe just preparing, if that makes sense, for the next chapter.
It makes a lot of sense. And also because we're about to enter Pisces season, which is the last season of the zodiac, right? So it's not made necessarily to have like a big new start. Would you like to chime in with that regarding like the energies, Meg, and also us entering Pisces season as opposed to like traditional new year? You're supposed to launch a whole lot of projects, but actually it's more the equinox that's very, let's say, conducive for new starts. Would you like to share with us what you think?
Yeah, I feel like we were just telepathically talking there for a second or something. Because when Sophie, you just said what you said, I was just thinking, yeah, we're in the dead of winter still. We're in the darkest part of winter right before the spring next month. So it's really a time of cleansing, cleaning, purging, seeing where we're at. And when we get to the spring equinox, that's our natural time, new year, so that's really when we create those intentions. They actually work. I think it's funny when sometimes I still do it because, we're all programmed in that way, but and it never, for me, it never works. I don't know. Comment in the comment, you guys, if your New Year's resolutions work, because for me, they never do when I do them in January. But in the spring, since I've been doing that and working more with those natural day calendar celebrations, that's what really brings us into alignment. So
Right.
that's just next month, May 21st or the 20th. Do you guys know when the equinox is? I think it's the 20th.
The 20th, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we're still in the winter time, the dreaming time, the reflection, and we can push and try to accelerate things to put them out there, but it's just, it's still a time of rest and seeing what we want to create in the spring, what we're
Right,
going to want to plant.
because
Yeah.
Pisces season is like very dreamy. So it's a good time
Yeah.
to dream about manifesting, but not necessarily actually manifesting right now. Maybe
Right.
like there's a delay with the manifestation process there. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
totally. And do you see like a common theme coming up in your consultations? You see, or either a common theme coming up in the energy around you, Meg, in your personal life, maybe?
Yeah, definitely along the lines of what Sophie was sharing, it's relationships. So
Mm.
ever since February started, which is really interesting, ever since February 1st, it's been a lot about relationships, love relationships, and people maybe with someone that's not on the same page. Are you noticing that too, Sophie?
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
people that are not like-minded,
Yeah.
but in a relationship. And how do we navigate that? How do we navigate being with someone that really is on a different wavelength in certain ways? I think it's a challenging one, what a lot of people are going through right now.
Yeah, and especially when we know the nodes are going to enter Aries and Libra, the South Node in
Mhm.
July will enter Libra. So I'm feeling intuitively that a lot of relationships that are not necessarily aligned, like you said, might end very unfortunately, but also opening up some space for more aligned relationships. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Looking ahead and sharing with everyone that, yeah, we're going to be having that nodal axis shift. And, the South Node right now has been in Scorpio. So I feel like I'd love to hear what you guys think about, but I feel like that's why there's so much purging on top of Pluto being in the last degrees of Capricorn. Like it's
Right.
just so much going on at the same time. It's crazy. But, we've been letting go of the shadow side of life, right? And all our obsessive patterns and programming. Scorpio is very psychological, right? Like our psychological programming, and also the bad guys in the world. They're losing their power with this Scorpio South Node, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, totally. When we get into that South Node Libra, relationships that are not in alignment, it's just not going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah, and
But
it's funny. Go ahead, Meg.
sorry, I was just going to say, I think that you can be in a relationship with someone that maybe has different thoughts or beliefs as you, but as long as you're being honored, like as
Mhm.
long as you feel, I don't know, I'd like to hear what you guys think, but I think as long as you're not having to fake it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel like
my
that's
last
okay.
relationship was in fact with somebody that was unawakened and that
Right.
was vax and everything. And
Mm,
we had to establish ground rules from the start that we are going to respect each other, we're going to have healthy debate, and that we're going to stay together until it doesn't make any sense anymore. But
yeah.
I think it's, for me, I'm on top of it, I'm vegetarian, so I think that I'm going to have those kind of debates with politic, with eating what I'm eating, because I don't eat meat,
Mhm.
what my vaccination status is. So there's a lot of things that we need to learn about communication in relationship, any kind of relationship, romantic or not. But we, at the end of the day, we need to have respect and love and open conversation about that. It end up not working, end up not being alike enough and to be on the same page. But I think it's a great lesson sometimes to be with someone very different. If you have a healthy debate, just to practice that in your life. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
agree.
I was gonna say when Meg said earlier, I don't know what you think about like having a relationship when you're not seeing eye to eye necessarily on different subject. I feel like it's different from person to person because um, some people have on their path a lot of relationships that are going to be very different for them in order to evolve and, let's say, maybe heal some shadow sides of themselves. So I feel it depends on what kind of evolutionary path you're on. But for sure, like Sophie, if we take your example, with your ex, I feel like it was definitely like a good part of your evolutionary process because it made you realize who you were even more. So it's not like you're with the wrong person and it's like, okay, well, let's turn the page and forget about it. Like it's becoming a part of who you are because you learn so much from those people. So I don't think there's any mistake if we look at it in that way, but maybe long-term wise, it's going to be harder and harder to find some common ground and maybe have the same type of objectives long term. So
especially we have passion about topics. So especially if it becomes part of your day-to-day life, what you listen to, what you believe in, your strong values, then it's going to be more and more important. And you have somebody that matches your values for sure. But what we see, and I think that's what you were trying to say, Meg, is that sometimes in consultation we have 20 plus years relationship that, because of what happened with the last 3 years, those people don't see eye to eye anymore. And it's really hard because they built a life together. They built so much together. And now they have a new topic in their life on top of everything that they worked through already, that they have to really see, am I with the wrong person, or it's just going to pass like everything else?
Yeah, totally. And I'm seeing a lot of comments and people agreeing with what we're saying and sharing their experience. So thank you, everybody. And I just want to say here, thank you, Stella. We'll get to your question in the second part of the video. Thank you so much for supporting us. And like, okay, so on this subject of relationships and not necessarily seeing eye to eye, I feel like it's also having to do somehow with Venus and Neptune in Pisces, right? Because it's such a big relationship impact. And I know we spoke about it last week, but it's coming to an exact conjunction on the 15th, so in about a week. So we're still very much in this energy, which can be also about deception in relationships, because Neptune can be this idealization energy of like thinking someone is going to be our hero or fulfill our needs and take us on a very magic carpet ride. I don't know, but it's very dreamy, very like floating energy, magical. But sometimes Neptune can be harsh also in unfolding the harsh reality in front of us. And so, like, of course, there's a higher frequency to that conjunction, but also we've got to make sure that we're not idealizing, like, let's say, new people we meet, but also the people we're in relationship with. And
can I bring something up? Sorry, Julie.
Sure, go ahead.
You want to finish what you were going to say? Sorry.
No, go ahead, I'll change the subject after.
Do you guys feel like this is a similar energy with this Venus-Neptune conjunction in Pisces to kind of like when we have a Mercury retrograde or a Venus retrograde where people from our past might be coming back? Because sometimes the Pisces is sometimes the past too.
Right.
Right?
I don't know.
I just felt that really strong right now.
I've never thought about it, but it makes a lot of sense. Yes. Yeah. Especially from past lives also, right?
Past lives. Yeah. Meeting people from past lives, reuniting, and then thinking that they're the one because we've known them
because
before.
You feel so familiar with them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It makes so much sense. And yeah, like on that subject, I just wanted to share with you guys that I was watching a documentary about Pamela Anderson on Netflix this week, and I can't remember the title, something like Pamela with Love. Love was in the title somewhere. And the whole time I was looking at her birth chart because I was like, oh my gosh, she's such like a Venus and Neptune type of women. And I'll share that with you right here, her chart. So, and very funny, she has Venus in Leo, kind of very tightly square Neptune in Scorpio. So she has like a kind of tight square between her natal Venus and Neptune, which to me is kind of close to what we're experiencing at the moment for everybody with this Venus-Neptune conjunction. So, but Venus and Neptune together, the conjunction can bring the higher frequencies of the energies of the planet, but also the lower energies. The conjunction is kind of either or both at the same time even. But a square is kind of bringing more, let's say, the lower frequency of this aspect. And for her, throughout the documentary, you can see that, well, first of all, she married a lot of men. So she was kind of always in love with love. Well, to me, it's very Venus and Leo also. Like she loves romance. She loves to be swept off her feet. But she marries those guys. So she married and divorced a lot of guys. And also this Neptune energy comes in also for her to attract a lot of alcoholics, which is Neptune, drug addicts, also cheaters, which is kind of Neptune, also can be in the lower frequency. But also higher frequency of Neptune would be musicians. And she's been married to a couple of musicians also. So
But
I don't know
did you notice that you had on the chart, she has her Venus at 23 degree, the degree of Aquarius.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So is that something that may bring more of an in and out of relationship easily?
That's interesting. A lot of divorce, yes. I never thought about it, but it's interesting. Yes.
Yeah, that is one of the divorce degrees, right? Aquarius.
Right. It's interesting, Sophie. Thank you. Yeah. So like the whole time I was thinking about this Neptunian and Venusian energy coming in. And for her, like she embodied this square and this energy so much. Yeah. So it's kind of like there's a danger for deception with this energy. So we all got to make sure we're not just like fantasizing about something and being pulled in the idealization. And it can be of like a public figure also. It doesn't mean it's like necessarily a lover or someone. It's someone we put on a pedestal, but it's not necessarily going to pay off in the long term.
So I think it's the perfect timing to just put my story back of the last week's show. So last week, if you were listening, you may heard a bang during the show. We were talking about decluttering the house and how to, if you want to have new love, you can declutter the nightstand on the side of the person that you want to attract. So you're using one side, the other side needs to be empty for this person to join. And during that show, when we were talking about that, we heard a bang. After the show, I went to look, and I have a picture of a man, Elvis, and a picture of a woman, Marilyn, on each side, so representing female and male. This is for the feng shui. And the picture of Elvis just fell, bang, on the floor while I was talking about decluttering this. And I tried to put it back and it fell again. I sent the picture to my sister, so to Julie, and she said, well, I was listening to the show for something, and when you sent me that, it was saying at exact time, declutter.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have to make space.
So I was telling her, like, I think this Elvis thing is kind of blocking your future lover somehow. I can't really explain how it works, but it feels like universe was giving you like a big message there.
I think so.
And while
maybe you just need like a Elvis room or something, in your house,
in your basement, and then
it's just all in.
How creepy!
Yeah, that would be creepy.
Holly says Elvis is alive. Yeah. And while I have you on the screen, Sophie, Meg earlier was talking about this big purge with the South Node being in the sign of Scorpio. So we're all going through this big purge at the moment. And also we've got Pluto right now at the very last degrees of Capricorn, which is kind of also a big purge collectively, if you think about it. So how did you see it like unfolding in the energy in your consultations or maybe in your personal life? Like, how do you see this big purge happening?
So most people that are in my consultation right now in the last few days has been either Pisces rising, Pisces moon, or Pisces sun. And it's like 99% of the people. It's crazy time for Pisces. And I think that those are the ones that are more affected with the energy right now through anxiety, through this purge, because they're so sensitive to what is going on. So Meg said that you're unicorns. I believe that too. So I promised some people that I talked about to bring this to the live. So I have the book about Call Your Anxiety. It's not mine. It's just to give you some clues about what you can do if you want to try to get a sense of what you're experimenting right now, what you have in your energy, and how to go through that the best way possible. This really helped me, and I think it can help my Pisces friend. There is also hypnosis, and a lot of consultation are normally about past life, and it's true for this week with the Pisces too, because they're trying to break through from what is really holding them in this lower frequency of fears, of lack mentality, of maybe relationship patterns, maybe with narcissistic or things like that. So they're trying to get to the source of the problem, the root of it, and really work it out, even though they're feeling bad about many things right now. The energies are really heavy on them, and life has been hard for the past 2 years. If I remember what you said, Meg, for Pisces, the last 2 years have been really hard on them. So it's the time to get rid of that, because they don't want to feel this in anymore. And I'm talking about Pisces. Last week we talked about Pisces. It's because we have this heavy Neptune. I'm assuming I'm going to let you speak on that. But everyone has Pisces somewhere. We all have the sign. All the signs are somewhere in our chart. Maybe Pisces rules your area of work, or maybe you're more Pisces and somewhere in your life. But the one that feel it the most, I think it's going to be the Pisces rising, but I'm going to let you speak on that.
Yeah, Meg. So back to you, Meg. What can we tell the Pisces or people with a lot of Pisces energy, maybe that are struggling with either anxiety or more depression? Do you have some tips for them to navigate those energies?
I think it's really important for them right now with this conjunction. We're talking about Venus, Neptune, plus we are exactly 1 month away from Saturn going into Pisces.
Right.
For 3 years, right? 3 years or just under 3 years?
I think it's 2 years.
2 years, yeah. So they're going to be one of the signs kind of really going through it. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. And Pisces isn't the easiest sign. It's one of the most beautiful and magical signs, but it's not one of the easy peasy signs, because it rules the spiritual world and the dream world and illusions, right? And dreams and fantasy. So I would say Pisces need to have grounded people around them right now. You need to have people around you telling you the truth, telling it like it is, which I know isn't always, sometimes we don't like that, because sometimes we just want people to, our egos just want to hear that, yeah, we're on the right track and we're not illusions or anything. But Pisces in particular, when we've got Saturn in Pisces coming up in exactly a month, Saturn is the structures of our world in the most unstructured sign. So I really feel like grounding is so important. If I'm a Pisces, if I was a Pisces, I would be doing like earthing every day, or I'm just kind of getting, the spirit is showing me those earthing mats that you can get for bed. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
There's an amazing documentary and book called Earthing, which is all about the practice of, being barefoot outside and how we're wearing these shoes made out of rubber that aren't good for us. And we really should be barefoot more. But if you're not able to do that, I think it's like earthing.com or something. You can get these mats that plug into the outlet in your wall. And I don't understand the whole technicalities of it, but they connect to the electromagnetic field of Mother Earth, and they ground you while you sleep.
So cool.
So things like that, like Spirit's just really showing me that strong, like grounding, constant grounding right now, I feel is very important. And to have people around you that are telling you, aren't afraid to be honest with you, you know?
Yeah. I have a Virgo sun. What can I do? Sophie, back to you. Can you pull some cards maybe for the people that have like a strong Pisces influence in their chart? Maybe some guidance on how to navigate. Meg was talking about grounding. Would you have other, let's say, advice for people with strong Pisces?
I will take cards, and also I want to chat with you about the new moon, the full moon that we just had, about the anxiety, because it affects about everybody that doesn't feel that they are where they should be in their life right now. So I think right now the energy. Oh, there's an echo. I don't know whose side.
There's an echo.
Yep, there's an echo.
Okay.
So the full moon in Leo, it's basically, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the Leo is the child inside of you, so the inner child. And the inner child is going to ask you to look at your life with the expectation of when you were young and where you want it to be at your age. And if your life has some excitement, if you're happy about it, we have responsibility. We have to work. We have to do some family stuff that sometimes we're not happy about. But mostly in your life, are you 90% happy? Are you 40% happy? And this child, this inner child, is in this full moon that just was, I think it was this weekend, really is looking at your life and says, this is fine, but I'm really not happy this and for this and this and this in your life. And that's where we have the full moon. It's ending a cycle on what is not for you anymore, and what maybe you tried to push under the rug and that didn't work. So some anxiety can come from the fact that you're not satisfied, but you don't know how to act differently about this. So before I take cards on this, you want to add something on that?
No, you're totally right. Like I had a lot of images while you were talking about that. Like, yes, I started dancing again near the full moon, and it made so much sense because that was one of the things that really brought me joy when I was a kid. So like it reminded me that I needed to be in this joy frequency more often to be able to confront all the changes that are about to come and all like the busyness of the everyday life. So it made so much sense. Yes, you're right.
So those are the two cards that I picked for today. So I have Wash Away the Old for the past position. So this is really good. And it's the Pisces. And we have the Fire with Follow Your Passion. So it's exactly what I just said. Also, it's really important that you look at what you want to bring next. So if you have a minute before you go to bed, just take a piece of paper and run through the 12th area of your life and just look at mainly what you want to bring next in your life. It will be your vision board if you don't have the time or you don't want to do a vision board with images or something. Just make a list of where you want to go next. No need to know how to get there. When you learn how to drive, you're not looking right at the front of the car. You're looking at where you want to go. So that's the same energy. You're looking at where you want to go to get there naturally, farther away in the future.
Nice. And also right now, as we speak, we have something that's very rare in the sky. That's all the planets moving direct. So I'm just going to show you guys. This is from astrolada.com. She has a calendar, an astrology calendar. But I just wanted to show you how rare it is to have like a whole month, like February and March, to be free of retrograde planets. So it's like the universe giving you this big push in the back. So what Sophie was just saying, I feel like it makes so much sense that now that the possibilities are endless and open in front of us, now we have to get this fire and take advantage of like this very rare energy of the universe opening up, like all the possibilities in front of us.
Yeah.
Meg, how do you feel about the fact that February and March, we have all planets moving direct and just about to have like those big two transits, Pluto and Saturn changing sign? Like, how do you feel about this mix of energy?
I feel like this is such a big time where, yes, all the planets are moving forward, but there's something about us still being in the exploration and the reflection at the same time, and really connecting back to the spring. You know, maybe around the spring equinox, we can do some kind of show on manifesting our intentions or something like that. Would be so powerful. But we have more clarity right now. It's good that there's no planets retrograde during this Venus, Neptune conjunction. So it might not be as severe with the illusions if there was some sort of planet retrograde. That would be a lot more wonky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for us before getting into March, which I think is really going to be March, April, May. I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys think, but I think those are going to be the really big months of the year with
Oh, for sure.
Saturn and Pluto ingressing into new signs, and then the eclipse season, the crazy eclipse season in April, May. So, yeah.
I'm kind of scared because I think it's going to square my Pluto or something like that. The eclipse season is going to start with a bang for sure. But yeah, I agree with you, Meg. I think those are going to be big months. So we're kind of this, let's say, preparation. The High Priestess card would represent, to me, like the energies right now, like silent manifesting.
Yeah. And I really feel like this theme of what you said, Julie, the joy frequency, I'm feeling that really strong. And I'm noticing that with friends and in consultations, and I'm noticing it with myself too. Like, I really don't care as much to keep up with every single thing that's going on. I want to be in that joy frequency and uplifted. We've been so heavy for so long, a lot of us taking on so much, and we're still in the changes. So we need to allow ourselves to relieve some of that energy. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Okay, so I know we're talking about the joy frequency, and I'm about to bring like something that's kind of the opposite of joy frequency.
Freddy Cooper.
Yeah.
Which is Saturn. And we're gonna decode even more Saturn in our next Astro Decode, Meg and I. So if you want to know more about like how to best navigate, let's say, a Saturn return, a Saturn opposition, Saturn square you're having maybe at the moment, we'll decode that in details. But as of, I would say even right now, I'm feeling that Sun and Saturn are kind of already an orb to prepare for the conjunction that's going to be on mid-February, so February 16. So Sun and Saturn coming together. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a harder kind of energy, and I'd like to know, Meg, after what you think about it. So it's kind of a downer because Saturn is our life force, our vital energy, but it can be used the right way. So we're going to talk about how to best use and channel this energy to, let's say, manifest your projects, maybe focus onto something that's more Saturnian rather than like feeling depressed because things are not moving as fast as you'd like. Because Saturn is kind of a slow builder energy. And we're all going to feel this energy because Sun and Saturn are going to conjunct into the sign of Aquarius in a few days. So right now we're kind of already feeling it. That's going to be for about, let's say, a week or two. So everybody's going to feel this conjunction in one area of their birth chart. But very generally speaking, it talks about feeling more serious about planning for our future, which is Aquarius. So you might feel the push to, like, let's say, take action on something, on a project, on maybe thinking about your future, thinking about where do you want to build your future, where do you want to build your life, what do you want to build, and maybe start taking some actions towards it because Saturn likes long-term things, long-term commitments. Also, we were talking about grounding. Well, I think this is going to be a good transit for grounding because Saturn really is an earthly planet and we're going to feel more grounded and it's going to help us focus more on practical things. And I feel like it's going to be a good balance with this Neptunian, Venusian energy in Pisces, which is very dreamy. But on the other side, we've got Sun and Saturn conjunction, which is very practical. So we won't have a choice to be like up in the air. I think we'll have the universe pushing us to focus also on practical things, which can be good. But like say on the more downer side, we'll feel a lot of responsibilities and probably like a heavy burden of work. So don't be surprised if you have more work coming in and you feel like very busy. That's very a classic Saturn energy coming into your life. Also, energy-wise, more grounding is going to be good because you can feel drained energetically because you have like so many things to take care of. That's very Saturn. Also, feeling lonely and depressed. Saturn is kind of a loner in terms of energy and in astrology. So that's not necessarily bad if you know about it in advance. So maybe plan some more alone time and time to focus on your things so you don't feel like you're missing out on a lot of social activities because Saturn is kind of more like, yeah, working, lonely. But it can be positive if you use that energy to build your projects for the future. There's also some possible setbacks and delays coming in. And I feel like it's going to be an easier energy for Capricorns or people with a lot of Capricorn energy in their chart because their ruling planet is Saturn. So if you can really like hold this energy of Saturn in a positive way, I feel like it's going to be a good transit for you. So channel this energy into building, working on some projects with a long-term objective in mind. And I feel like it's going to be probably the best way to channel it. How do you feel about this energy, Meg? Do you already feel it?
Yeah, it's interesting because today actually I felt a shift. I don't know about you guys, but today I felt a shift where I was like, I'm not feeling like totally at my normal best. And I've actually been going through my first Saturn return right now, which I'm so excited is going to be over in 1 month when Saturn goes into Pisces. But it's like that feeling on my back. I feel Saturn on my back when there's aspects or with the Saturn return. Like I feel him energetically peeking in, like, what are you doing? The structures of your life, are you being responsible? You know, like he forces us to deal with stuff. And you're like, this is such a like drag. I just want to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like with this Sun conjunct Saturn, this is some interesting things with this. So when Saturn went into Aquarius was March 21st, 2020, I believe, right? And that is when the whole, situation of the past 3 years started. I won't say the specific word. It was literally the same week or the week after. So I feel like we're in this cycle where Saturn's in the last degrees of Aquarius. The Sun conjunction on Saturn feels like to me a illuminating of what this Saturn Aquarius cycle has been. And I keep hearing the words reality check, that this is like a reality check right now where those of us who have been conscious of what's going on, it's a reality check for us. Like, okay, this is actually happening. We're living in this world the past 3 years. And those of us who, you're probably not watching this show, or maybe you are. Hi, if you're not like-minded, it's the reality check of things didn't go back to normal. You did all that stuff that the TV told you to do, Saturn, and things didn't go back to normal. So it kind of feels like that, just a reality check time of where we're at, that we're now 3 years into this whole world change. And it's about to change again with the cycle of Saturn going into Pisces. So I think that's really like Saturn, I find really reflective as well. Like you were saying, Julie, he can be challenges and setbacks if we're not really in alignment with what we should be doing. I feel like if we are in alignment with what we should be doing and are in alignment with our soul's responsibility in our North Node, then Saturn, he lets us feel his presence, but it's definitely not as heavy.
Yeah.
He definitely likes to kick us in the butt if we're not doing what we know we're supposed to be doing, you know? So does that make
Totally.
sense how I explained that? It's
Yep.
like, yeah.
Yeah, you explained it so well. It makes total sense. And I just saw a comment here. Where's Jean-Claude? Someone else said like he got tired of all the divine feminine oracles. He works really hard and he's just taking some well-deserved time off. So hi, Jean-Claude, if you're watching, and we love you. Thank you for trusting us with your show. And he's going to come back soon. Don't worry, guys. He's not gone forever. He's just taking a well-deserved time off. So that being said, I'd like to answer a couple of questions. Thank you guys for all your super chats. We appreciate you so much. And thank you for everybody that's watching and commenting on the chat. So first of all, Sophie, I'd like to look at Stella's question. Love you three. Thank you, Stella. Please, can you shed light on my skin issue? That's very Aquarian because in astrology, Aquarius rules skin. So right now with this Sun-Saturn conjunction, almost conjunction in Aquarius, it's kind of shedding a light on skin issues. So what do you have for Stella?
It's about the physical touch. So I hope I'm going to say that with enough tact. It's divine masculine and love me or leave me. So it's either that you are single and you lack that physical touch. You do lack this. And I'm not talking just sexually. This is a need, but we do need to be touched without the sexuality, just to be loved, to be having cuddles, just to have some connection. But in your life, if you are attached, there may be something that you resent right now. It's maybe a strong word, but apply it as it resonates. There may be something with your physical touch. People that have access to your energy that can touch you also physically, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, a partner. It may be that you have some people around you that are trying always to cuddle you, are trying always to be so close to you. You're not comfortable with that, and you don't establish the boundary. So we don't have you in front of me to correct me in the direction, but that's the main energy that I have. And we do need to establish the boundaries on who is allowed to touch you or who is not. And if you're single, like I said, there's a need of some touch. So massage therapy can help with that, or maybe go for yoga or any kind of thing that will bring you some peace and maybe some connection with someone.
Interesting. Thank you so much for this advice. I hope it helps, Stella. Thank you so much. So next one is not really a question, but I'm gonna turn into a question for you, Meg. So Patriot Sugary says, when I heard that all planets were going forward as of January 22nd until April, actually, well, it's until March, I think. Oh no, you're right, until April.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was going to be easier. I was incorrect. Okay, so maybe with Meg, can you tell us, let's say, what's the difference between, let's say, all planets moving direct and having like an easy aspect in astrology? Because those two can be different, because we're approaching also eclipse season and a lot of important transits.
Yeah.
So how do you see the difference between like having an easy life with astrology, but also planets direct?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's a hard question because it shows how there's so many layers of astrology and there's so many things going on. And it's definitely, I would say, the nicest, easiest energy when we've got the planets moving forward instead of backwards, right? So that's one aspect of astrology, the movement of the planets. Are they going direct motion or retrograde? But we've also got in astrology aspects, which is the energetic relationships to the planets, of the planets to each other based off of the degrees away. It's very mathematical and kind of technical that the planets are. So even though we've got all the planets direct, which is great, which is awesome, sometimes we have these aspects like the Sun conjunct Saturn that can be a little bit of a heavy energy for a week or 2 weeks or something. So we've definitely got some intense aspects we're going to be going through, and planet ingressions with Saturn and Pluto changing signs in March. So even though the planets are all moving forward, and I think it's until April 21st when Mercury goes retrograde again. I think that's the next planetary retrograde. We're still going to have some bumpy aspects here and there. And actually that April 20th eclipse is going to be crazy, which we're going to start talking a lot more about, I think. Yeah. So yeah, it is good that they're going direct. And I hope that answers.
Yeah, that was
not a question, but yeah.
That was a great answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
And like the way I see it is that retrogrades are kind of a slingshot type of energy. Yeah. So you go backwards in order to go forward even more after. But it doesn't mean when you're going forward that it's necessarily positive. It can mean that anything that's been held back is starting to move forward, the good and the bad. So as you said, Meg, aspects and other type of astrological alignments are really important to determine what kind of energies will be, let's say, pushed forward when it's direct.
Right. Did you want to say something, Sophie?
Yeah, about that Sun conjunct Saturn, I cannot help but see that it may be a tower moment for those of us that didn't do the work in the purge. So we're all going to go through the same energy, but depending on if you did the work to release what doesn't resonate with you in your life, to make the big purge, to make the big cleaning, yes, you may have a harder time, because it's one thing to have to push through to get a new job, or it's one thing to have harder conversation when you really want to be in that relationship, or when you really want to be in that job or doing that thing, but when you're not sure that you want to be there, it's really something else to go through harder energies.
Right, totally. And I've got a question for you, Sophie, if you want to pull some cards for our friend LA. Thank you so much for your donation. We really appreciate it. Okay, so I am at my wit's end, about to give up my legal custody case. And I'm kind of feeling this is a common theme. A lot of people are writing me about having this legal custody cases around. So everyone is turning their backs on me and unsupportive. I am desperate. Please advise. So would you have an advice to give to LA as to, let's say, some guidance regarding her or his? I'm assuming it's a woman, but I don't know. Legal custody case.
Okay. So I know it's not going to be exactly what you want to hear, but I do have that things are at play behind the scene with the High Priestess, and we have the Eight of Pentacles next to it, and we have the Emperor. So the Emperor would be the exact energy that we just talked about. I think of the Emperor as the Sun conjunct the Saturn. I think it's really grounding. I think it's really strong. But what it means for me in that case, it's really that things are at play. Things are going to be unblocking during that time. But unfortunately, right now, things are mostly behind the scene because there is no real action. You described that exactly, Julie. In the beginning, you said the High Priestess with the energy of the moment. Well, we have the High Priestess right now. It's not exactly what I would hope for you right now, because it's not movement yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Behind the scene, there's movement that you may not see, but things are at play and things are moving. Let me just take one card about healing and guidance about that, because I want you to have some guidance with that. So it says, be open and humble. So this is the Virgo energy. For me, it means that you need to be also more organized, plan also on your end. I know you're probably, like I said, I with hands, so you probably tried everything, but make lists. If there is some information that later on you will need, it will be there. Make lists. And when it says be open, it means that be open also to new strategy. Be open to talk with your lawyer about different things. And humble means that don't get, I know it's weird, but don't get mad during the trial if you have other dates. It's really hard. I'm so sorry about that. So I'm sending you tons of love, and I'm with you.
Oh, Ellie is saying mom. Thank you so much, Ellie. I hope it helps. And we're sending you a lot of support, energy, lots of love coming your way. I know it's hard. And I know a lot of people are kind of in that similar situation of the high priestess, but we're sending you the best possible energy. Thank you so much, Shauna, for your 444 donation. We appreciate it. Okay, so now I've got one, and I hope, Meg, you're going to be able to help me with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to try to share my astrological chart. Just a second. Okay. Add to stream. Here we go. So, okay, James saying, just got my chart. Thank you. Thank you, James. So, Aquarius Sun, Virgo rising, Scorpio moon. So I just put the chart for today with Virgo rising. What does the universal energy want to guide me to? I am confused on what I should be doing. So first of all, when I just put the chart with the Virgo rising energy, and let me know, Meg, if you see something else, I just saw that the 7th house is going to be very much highlighted for you, James, because you're going to have the Venus-Neptune conjunction in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. So that might be someone new entering your life. Also, it can be someone you already know, like a soulmate, someone from past lives coming to your life. And the sun is about to transit also in Pisces, is in your 7th house. And Saturn is also about to enter your 7th house of Pisces. So I feel there's a lot of relationship action. Sophie, can I ask you to pull a card for James, and then maybe we can come back to his chart after?
Yes, I already did.
Thank you.
I just split the deck twice to see what it was there, and I had the Ace of Wands and as I split again, it's the same, and I had the Knight of Wands. So I think that it goes back to the advice with the full moon in Leo. You need to follow your passion. Since it's the 7th house that is going to be the main focus, it may be in business, because 7th house is in love, yes, but it can be partnership in business too. So partnership, maybe you're dealing with some people that has, business partners, that's what I mean. So you're going to have to follow your passion. If it doesn't resonate with you anymore, your job, you need to be straight with that and to know what will bring you passion in your life, because Ace of Wands is the new beginning. Aces are new beginning. It's also passion. So it can be in love, new passion. It can be at work, new passion. But whatever you do with Knight of Wands and Ace of Wands, if you don't have the fire, you cannot go further away in that direction, because those two cards about fire is going to ask you to really, really be sure of which direction. Otherwise, you may lose your motivation and you may lose the passion for life. Basically, you may lose like happiness and joy in your day-to-day.
Yeah, and I just pulled a card for you, James, and I have Taurus. So it's kind of like this feeling of enjoying life, like Sophie said, finding your passion back. And I feel like it's going to reunite you with all like-minded souls. So people you're going to partner with for work projects, because I know in your chart there's a lot of work energy with the Virgo sun in the 6th house. But I feel like you need to open up a bigger place for joy. Meg, do you have an intuitive message maybe for James?
Yeah, I feel strongly for James to look into Pluto going into Aquarius, right? So that's going to be activating your sun for the next over 20 years, right? And I really find that the first 2 to 3 years of Pluto being in a new sign and the last 2 to 3 years are the most potent, if you will. So James, you can really use this energy over, from March onwards of transformation. It's going to be very easy for you to manifest and transform. Follow the signs and the stage direction from the universe that you are receiving, and the truth that you know what is the truth, not what other people are saying. Follow
Great
your
advice. Yeah. That's a great advice. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So guys, if you want to, right here, if like James, you would like to have your personalized birth chart, you can do so on MAISONJupiter.com. This is a digital product. It's basically an art print with your own personalized birth chart in the color of your choice. So you can print it and frame it, and then it comes also with the 15 to 20 pages report explaining your most important alignments. So let's say you have Sun in Virgo. What does that mean? In your 6th house, what does that mean? So it's really a good starting point to learn how to decode your birth chart and have more self-knowledge. So thank you very much, James, for that question. I really appreciate it. And okay. Oh, I have a fun comment for you, Sophie. So Caitlin, thank you so much, Caitlin, is saying, Sophie, we had a reading a while back and you said I'd get the job. I got it. I wanted you to get the updates, Sophie, for the win. Best reader I've ever worked with.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you. Thank you for the update.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. We appreciate it so much. Maybe we'll take one more question if you guys have some time. Thank you so much. And while I have my slide deck ready, just a second. I'm not as good as JC, but I'm trying really hard.
You're very good. Don't worry.
Yeah, very good job.
Thank you, girls. So today we just launched Tarot Level 3 with Janine, with the amazing Janine. So level 3, if you guys are interested in learning more tarot, I feel like it's a great tool to, let's say, learn to connect more with your intuition and maybe have some more question, help yourself, but also help your friends, your family. Level 3 is going to be about the relationship spread that we're going to launch for Valentine's Day, so around next week, and also the zodiac spread. So Janine will be explaining all those spreads. And also it includes live practice with Janine. So a live Q&A session. There's going to be 3 of those once a month. So every time you are done with a module, with a new spread, you can practice with Janine. So I think this is going to be a great course. I'm very excited for it. Registration just opened today. And there's a 10% discount if you enter Tarot 3 into at checkout. So there we go. And regarding tarot, Sophie, can you tell us, like, how did it help you, let's say, with your personal growth, with answering some question you had? How did it help you?
So first, when you deal with stress in your life, it helps to know what is coming. So that's the first thing that I really appreciate about that. But also, once you trust your intuition enough to read the cards, because you can be the best at knowing all the description of the cards, but you need intuition to know which one to use and when. So when you know your intuition that it's a good one and you know how to use it, you open the door to new things. So you open the door to maybe mediumship, maybe for hypnosis, maybe other tools like that. So it's a whole new world. Just to you said the flying on a carpet. I'm saying the whole new world. There's a theme tonight.
There's a theme tonight. I like it.
So it's basically just, if you didn't do anything like that in the past, it's a good way to start with tools. It brings you something solid that you can start to trust your intuition and then build on it for later on if you want to.
Yeah. So, and like, as we know, learning the theory of tarot can bring you somewhere, but also practicing is really another level. So we noticed that a lot of people need to practice and have this support of this community. So I feel like Tarot Level 3 is really focused on practice. So that can really help you elevate your tarot game, so to speak.
The way that we learn, me and Julie, when we learn, we were really not good at first. We all have this curve of learning, and we were like meeting once every month maybe, and we were like practicing. It took us hours with the book, each card, and what do you think it means, and are you sure? And we all start from that. Don't expect to be perfect, but it's the one that push through and practice that are going to really be the good ones, because if you only practice on you, you don't get the feedback, you don't have this practice on other people, other situations that you may not know about, you're not going to be really leveling up. You're not really going to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, so true. And talking about a lot of new content and getting in touch with your intuition, Meg, can you tell us what you have for us tomorrow?
For tomorrow, yeah, we're going to be doing, I think it's my 4th or 5th one so far, the Beyond Astro. So we're going to get into the astrology for the upcoming week from tomorrow, Wednesday, to next Wednesday. We're going to be talking about Saturn and going a bit deeper into the Neptune and Venus conjunction, along with other things. So be sure to check it out, you guys, at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel.
Yeah, and tomorrow night there's also the Beyond the News show with Jean-Claude and Janine. That's going to be on beyondmystic.net for IAP members, but also if you want to purchase it as a pay-per-view. And on Thursday, we got the now famous Pick a Card with Sophie. So do you know already the theme for the Pick a Card, Sophie?
It's going to be House 4, so House of Cancer. So it's going to be talking about your home, what is coming next in your home sector. And it can be talking about if you're moving or what is going on inside of the home.
Wow. Well, I like that. I think I'm going to need to do this Pick a Card very specifically. Yes. Good. So before we... whoops, I forgot my slide. Okay, here we go. So before we leave you tonight, don't forget there's a 10% off for your next reading with either Sophie or Meg with the code BeyondMystic in one word. So that will give you 10% off. So there's 2 different readings with Sophie. There's the 1 hour or there's a 30-minute, which is a priority booking. So if you have something more, let's say, urgent you want to ask her. Sophie, how would you describe your sessions, generally speaking? What kind of question can they ask you?
So for the 30 minutes, I really follow what is the question of that moment. If you have something that is more urgent, sometimes people don't have urgent question, but they just don't want to wait. It's fine, no problem. For the 1 hour, I always lead with a question. What do you have in mind for today? The reason is because sometimes people want to do past life readings. Sometimes people want to know about the year, what is coming in each area of their life. Or sometimes people have specific questions already prepared. So I want to open the door with whatever is your need on that moment, so I can answer it best in 1 hour.
Amazing. And what about you, Meg? You have the 1 hour 30 birth chart reading, but also the 1 year personal forecast reading. So what kind of question would you answer in both of those readings?
So for either of them, it's open to anyone, whether you're beginner or advanced to astrology. I kind of tailor it based on where everybody's at. And it's really different every time. Some people just want to hear me talk the whole time and see what I have to say about their birth chart and why they're here, where they're coming from. And some people have specific questions about, life, whether it's love, career, money, purpose. So all of those things come up in the birth chart. And then the 1 year personal forecast is where we look at your year ahead, which is always exciting, especially now with all the really cool things we have coming up astrologically. It's really, really cool when we can consciously work with the energies, what areas are being highlighted for us, know what's coming up. So
yes,
yeah.
I totally agree with you. And before we go for tonight, I'd like to ask each of you if you can go with a little guidance, either a card or an intuitive feeling for the week ahead, maybe how to best navigate the energies.
I'm going to pull a card too.
Thank you, Laura.
Replenish or invigorate your spirit. Okay. So I'm going to say something really wild. when her father passed, we did a whole week of honoring his memory through watching his favorite movies, listening to his favorite music, and eating the best meals that he liked. I think it's the time to do it the same, but for your inner child. I think it's the time to do it for what is it that you liked when you were a child? What was the game maybe you want to draw against? Be open to be without your ego for this week, because it's all about the child inside of you this week, to reconnect with your best self and to spark the joy back into your life. And maybe area that you forget that it can be funny. So watch the movies maybe that you liked when you were a kid. Do the thing that you liked, and then eat the meals also. It's going to be fun, I think, to do that.
Thank you so much. I love that. Absolutely. What about you, Meg? What do you feel is going to be the best guidance for this week?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Sophie said, us connecting to that positive, joy, fun vibration. And also, this came to mind when we were talking about the sun conjunct Saturn, but then I forgot to mention it. But this reminded me, these two cards, Teacher from the Archetype cards and Wise One from the, what are these called? Kyle Gray Angels and Ancestors. So I'm feeling Spirit wanting to share that those of us that have family and friends that are living in that different reality right now, this sun conjunct Saturn might be a good time to have some reality check conversations in a loving way. Try to open the door a little bit, see how they'll respond. Maybe they'll want to shut the door and not get into things and not talk about things. But I'll give you guys an example. Yesterday, I was with someone very close to me, and maybe it was I was feeling the sun conjunct Saturn, but I don't usually get into what's going on in the world, because I know a lot of us have had so many debates and fights with people. So I just, protect myself from that. But I just felt in the moment, I said to them, how would you feel about doing a cleanse from the, what's? And she was like, tell me more. And I explained how there's different foods and supplements and oxygen therapy that she could do. And she was actually open to it, you guys. And this is someone that I didn't think would be open to it.
Wow.
So I feel like let's be in that positive vibration. And also, if it comes up, maybe we want to have some talks in our wise one, in our loving wise one and consciousness from that part of ourselves, of maybe opening the door, maybe seeing if someone's ready to have a chat, because that reality check energy might be trippy for some people if they feel like they don't have someone to support them with it.
I love that. It makes so much sense too with my week and the people I met during the week. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I thank you, ladies. That was amazing. And thank you, everybody, for your amazing comments and supporting us always in the chat. We feel your love, and we're sending you a lot of love back to you. So thank you, everybody. Don't forget to like on both channels if you can, Maison Jupiter and Beyond Mystic. And thank you also for subscribing. And we'll see you very soon. Thank you, and au revoir.
Love
Bye,
you.
everybody.